Alright, today we are telling you how to enjoy Conan the Barbarian. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
And
they said Conan a lot in the movie.
Conan?
Yeah, they said Conan a lot and Conan.
Yeah,
I think in the first one it was just Conan. They didn't, but this one they said Conan a lot.
Yeah, I can't remember how to say it correctly.
They probably want to separate themselves from like ice cream cones.
Yeah.
You just might have thought I was going to say something different there.
We just had a conversation before this podcast about how I always ruin Matt's jokes. I'd just like to say I did not ruin that one.
I know, it landed perfectly.
Alright, my first kind of reaction is I thought it was great. It was kind of a throwback to maybe 80s films. They used a lot of props and a lot of effects instead of CG, even though it was a 3D movie. A lot of fake rocks, a lot of sets, a lot of huts and places that got torn up. It's gory, but the gore didn't really make sense. Like, a lot of blood coming up from everything. It starts off, spoiler, with Conan being in the womb and then he gets an axe. His mother gets an axe.
The power's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a sword too. I don't know if that really matters.
Oh, a sword. Okay, a sword came in and split the belly and Conan was born and it kind of set the tone. And it was something I haven't seen in a while and I enjoyed it. I'd like to see more
like a sword in a belly from the baby's perspective.
I haven't seen it since I used to watch Dr.
The beginning started out, I thought I was going to hate the movie from the whole time that Conan was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, it was really cheesy. I really hate kid actors in, these types of roles, where they're posing and making cool faces and, supposed to be badass fighters. I really hate it. So I thought I was going to hate the movie from what I was getting from the beginning, but after that, whenever he grew up, I liked it a lot. It had awesome set pieces, like you said.
I thought you were going to say awesome titties.
It had titties, which is cool. It was a good hard R, There were lots of gore, lots of killing, lots of titties.
Yeah.
It was we're explicit on iTunes.
Not a whole lot of menstruation, which is good for a barbarian.
For the same reason I hated it.
No, but it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of cool action. They did cool, innovative stuff with that. The practical effects were really good. I had a lot of fun with it.
Which brings us to Matt. I didn't mind the kid actor. Let me just address that real quick. He didn't have hardly any lines at all. I thought that was cool. I thought, he was just kind of quiet. If he had talked a lot more, then I could have seen it falling into what you said, Brian, where kid actors are usually super annoying. But I thought the kid actor was okay. I would say overall, I loved it in a decreasing manner. At the beginning, I was like, this is awesome, and then I was like, this is pretty good, and then by the end, I was like, I don't really care for it that much.
I would totally agree with that.
I'm kind of the opposite.
It's kind of a revenge story, as in this group of people, do something to Conan, obviously, and he goes and he has to find each one of them, and each one, kind of leads to the next one. It's kind of like Kill Bill, but in a fantasy setting. But if you notice, when you watch the movie, you'll notice, the first person he kills, it's in a totally awesome way. And the next person he kills, and it's a slightly less awesome.
Yeah.
All the way to the end, when the final boss, not final boss, it's not a video game, like Susie said. But
it actually is a video game. We've concurred it is a video game. But yeah, the last guy is a terrible death.
Yeah, it's not satisfying at all.
It's a lame death, but the whole battle, between the two of them was fine.
I don't know. I didn't think it was cool the first Conan, because in the first Conan you got this guy that can turn into a snake, and this guy has what? Two swords.
Don't you think they could have made? Yeah. Don't you think they could have made his mask look a little cooler?
Yeah, his mask was really dumb, and he's super old by this time, and it's kind of like if Conan doesn't beat him, maybe he should go on the Ellen show instead of fight warlords.
Yeah.
All right, so
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert. At the end, he's holding on to his love by a chain, and he's got the sword in the other hand. Just let go of the sword, Conan, and use 2 hands to pull her up. Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I was thinking, let go of the chain, grab that sword. That's a good sword. It's in the movie credits. I mean, it's in the poster. You can sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Let her go.
Steel's better than any other steel.
All he had to do was let go of the sword, and he could have pulled her up. But instead, he had to do this dramatic, like, one-handed chain pull-up thing. It's like, just let go of the sword, dude. Just let go of the sword.
Yeah. Agreed.
I hated how he fell in love, too. Sorry.
Was he in love? He wasn't really in love.
Sorry.
He's a barbarian.
Barbarians don't love. They live, they slay.
I save her and stuff.
They're
And he
content.
won't let her go.
That's not love not to let somebody die. That's
And
normal human decency. I've never known.
anything less would be barbaric.
Alright, so how best to enjoy it? I would say go in looking for gore and kind of revel in the fact that they don't use... It's not over special effects. It's kind of a throwback, and that's how I enjoyed it most, is kind of...
And the special effects that they do use, like the Sandman scene,
Yeah.
I mean, that was
It was good.
really good
It's a
special
really good
effects
blending
there.
of special effects and
Practical
props
effects,
and
yeah.
practical effects. So that's what I most enjoyed.
I agree with that. I mean, just be ready for... There's a bit of cheese in it. I mean, it's kind of like an 80s, like Max said, 80s throwback type movie. Ridiculous gore. You can go in ready for some boobies. If you're
Yeah.
into that.
You can't pause it at the theater, but wait till it gets on Netflix. Don't.
I'd say if you want to enjoy it, leave after 45 minutes. Sorry. I know I'm being like, I know it seems like I'm being harsh, but it feels like we like every single movie we see. You know? Very rarely have we hated movies,
It's like-
except Ryan did Harry Potter 8.
Let's enjoy every movie.
That's kind of the point of the podcast, dude. Hey.
Oh, okay, well, if you want to enjoy it, leave after 45 minutes.
So, what was your favorite part, Subcheck?
Man, it's funny, because right before the podcast, I was like, guys, make sure you think of your favorite part. And then I totally forgot to. I guess the first death, to go off my theme of each death is decreasingly cool.
Yeah,
The
that was
first
good.
death is pretty cool. I mean, I guess I'll
You mean-
spoil it, but
You mean the first revenge kill, right?
yeah,
With the
where
fat
it's
guy.
a slave, yeah, there's a slave owner, and he basically forces the guy to swallow the
Right.
key that will free all of his slaves, and then he tells the slaves, and he's like, your key is in this guy's belly, so they rip him apart. That
Yeah.
was totally awesome. And then the next guy gets catapulted, and you're like, that wasn't as awesome as the first one, but it was still pretty awesome. The third guy, they just, like, shove his face onto a sword. And then the fourth guy, they just drop off the cliff. It's totally boring.
Yeah. My favorite part was when Conan, when he's a kid, he cuts off some guy's nose, and then he meets with them later, and he has a mask covering his nose. I liked when he ripped off the mask, and to get him to talk, he shoved his finger in his nose hole. I hadn't seen that in a while. So that was my favorite.
That was actually
Last time was on Dr. Phil.
that was actually on my list of favorite my favorite part until the Sandman fight.
Yeah.
I thought that whole scene was really awesome.
That was stupid.
I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool. I just like the effects of the sand. I don't know how it... It's like, why didn't you just keep
Yeah, I guess
calling
the
them?
fight. Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah. The sand looked great, though.
The technique. Yeah, I mean the fighting wasn't my favorite part of it. It was the cool things to do with the sand special effects. So.
I thought they had some good motivation for the Sand people in that they were like, they're trying to raise money for their daughter who was sick, that operation. I mean, they weren't bad guys,
Sandman joke.
All right, better or worse? We got other sword and sorcery films here. So 300.
Ooh.
A little bit better.
Worse. A little bit worse.
Yeah, it was worse than 300.
I didn't jump on the 300 bandwagon like most.
I didn't love 300 either, but
You guys are so cool.
Willow.
Army buddies I didn't like.
Willow, it's worse than Willow.
Yeah.
Worse than Willow.
Morgan.
Kevin Costner's Robin Hood.
Worse.
Way worse.
That's Matt's favorite movie.
That's my favorite movie.
Troy.
Better.
Better.
Yeah, I think it's
Troy
better than
sucked.
Troy.
I
Beowulf.
hope Brandon doesn't watch this one.
Beowulf animated.
Yeah, and then there's Beowulf that came out.
Worse. I love Beowulf.
I did too. I had an amazing experience at the theater with
Better
Beowulf.
or worse than the epic poem.
I remember after Drews watched Beowulf in 3D, he called me and he was all like, he sounded sweaty and kind of emotional. He was like, "You seen Beowulf 3D yet, man? Blew my fucking mind." It's funny. And then like he just kept asking me if I'd seen it in 3D for like 2 months.
And you never did.
And I never did.
Alright, Facebook.com/EnjoyEveryMovie, Twitter @EnjoyEveryMovie, and we have a website coming, right?
Yep, on its way.
Alright. Thanks for watching.
There's no sorcery in Robin Hood. I just wanted to...
It's swords.
Isn't the sheriff's, or am I thinking of...
The sheriff's mom, like, pretends
Yeah,
to...
the sheriff's mom. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but isn't Mad Mortigan kind of a wizard? You're a wizard, Mortigan.